This is a video on biases in how our brains see and make worlds. First, there's the issue of social neuroscience. This is basically simply fMRI technology that allows us to map uses of glucose in various brain modules in real time as people do various kinds of thinking. And the fact that we have a large, detailed functional map of brain modules that are specialized for special functions. And if we can combine that map of modules of special functions and lay over it glucose use patterns while people do certain kinds of thinking, we can tell what modules are busy and what modules are less busy when people do certain kinds of thinking. And we can even sometimes see sequences among sets of modules so that these modules do something first and pass it on to those modules second, or then do something to it third. And through this, we are developing what's called social neuroscience, which is discovering that most of the expansion in the size of our brain was to handle social relations with other members of our species. And most of the modules of our brain are for social functions. And this has a lot of interesting practical and theoretical and moral and policy implications. Number two, Kahneman and Tversky proved that neoclassical economics is false, that economies have many equilibrium price points, not a few, and that there's no scientific way of telling which of 11, 20, or 1,000 equilibrium price points a particular economy is headed for. And therefore 99% of what 99% of the students of economics are made to learn in undergraduate economics and business programs and master's programs and MBA programs is completely useless and false. And Tversky died early, so he didn't get a Nobel Prize, but Kahneman did get a Nobel Prize for their work. And since then, 180 total flaws in how the brain handles statistical and cultural and other types of information have been replicated by researchers around the world. There are 180 ways that our brains missee and misconstruct worlds and realities for us. Number three, there's error science. And if you've ever had the chance on cable television around the world to look at the Mayday series on the National Geographic Channel, it's all about airplane cockpits and airplane disasters. And airplanes are large, complicated systems, and flying airplanes with air traffic controllers and busy airports and luggage and gates and conflict for gates and stacked airplanes waiting to get a gate up in the air, and the landing angles and wind conditions are an extremely complex system. And this program of Mayday has got these detailed investigations after each air accident about what were found to be the actual causes. And for one thing, it's almost always plural causes in fundamentally different parts of the system. And error science is something that unconsciously 40, 50-year-old managers and leaders develop, where they can anticipate how a system of people is going to go wrong and plan for it. And it's miraculous compared to 20, 30-year-olds. Number four, system science and its evolution into complexity theory. And basically the word system science, if it's used in the year 2000, 2012, is irresponsible. The word complexity system science should be used. And the fact of the matter is that Dynamo, Stella, and a number of J. Forrester MIT era tools for doing automatically solving systems of second-order differential equations so excited people that they created large 30-cause models of various phenomena. And then there was a period in the early 1970s and mid-1970s where some key journal articles were published saying that system dynamics of the Peter Senge, J. Forrester sort was scientifically phony science, and to shut it out of journals and stop publishing that crap. Because when you moved from 2 causes of something to 3, you got levels of complexity in the statistical sense that's unsolvable. And when you move from 3 causes to 8, you get 1 billion different configurations of those variables that will produce any outcome of the system that you're trying to explain. And so with that few number, with 10 variables, you'll have 1 billion possible configurations of them that will produce any particular output. There's no way with such a simulation system to distinguish which of those billion configurations is the cause, the actual cause. So it's phony science. It should evolve into complexity system science. This is adding the Santa Fe Institute, those 28 books by Addison Wesley Press and the following 10 books by Princeton University Press, adding that to as replacements to Peter Senge and the Stella Dynamo generation system modeling. Quality science. Quality science comes from the 20 or so totalizations of how one body of knowledge, quality, was made world powerful by the Japanese.